obstacles that your life might face you. So let's welcome Travis Muller.
Hey guys, so yeah, I'm Travis Muller. I'm 31. Grew up just north of Windham here. Graduated in 2012, and then yeah, at the time I was racing snowcross, like just below a professional level, and then decided to yeah, just keep continuing on with that path. I did not go to college, and yeah, kept racing. Rode for a few different teams that rode, you know, their snowmobiles and rode on their equipment. They hauled it around, and I would just show up. So I lived for a while in St. Cloud on one of the teams, and then after that Princeton for the other team, and then, you know, but I did always want to come back here and farm. I liked the area, like Windham. It's a great place to be. And let's see, so then yeah, ended up turning professional, I think, in 2019, and kept on with that until I retired in 2022. And then yeah, in 2023, just not even a year ago, or sorry, a little over a year ago, I was involved in a farm accident. And it's just weird because I always thought that, man, if I was going to get hurt, it was going to be racing. You know, I kind of had that, you know, it's a possibility in the back of my mind. I knew a few people who had gotten paralyzed racing and are in a wheelchair and whatnot, and just thought that I just never seen it coming from the farm, that's for sure. Never thought I'd get hurt on the farm after doing all that racing, but it happened. And yeah. So yeah, you know, now looking back, it you know, like a little more education, a little college would have definitely opened some doors, some different horizons now. But luckily I'm still able to do what I want to do. I can still farm, and also my dad has a machine shop that I used to work in. I haven't done much work in there. I'm trying to just build stamina to try and stand for longer periods of time to do that. But it's coming. It's things are progressing really well for me, and I'm happy with how that's going. But it's opened other doors too. Like one job that I kind of didn't even know existed that I thought is pretty cool is like a prosthetist. So my prosthetist is Kyle. I go to Mankato Limb Lab. I'm wearing their shirt today even, but that's a really cool job. It's kind of a workshop setting. So he builds the socket part of the leg. So like these are made by a bigger company, but then he fits them to my body. So they take a casting of your leg and yeah, basically fill that cast with plaster, and then they form. And it's pretty cool. The first time, my first leg I had made, he invited me and my wife back there to see how he does it, and like whole step by step. It was pretty cool. Just a small little workshop and just like regular hand tools, and I thought that was a pretty cool deal. If Mankato wasn't an hour away, I'd probably ask him for a part-time assistant job. It's a pretty neat deal. But so yeah, just learning about different things that you had no idea were out there. You know, if you don't know an amputee, you probably usually don't hear of a prosthetist or stuff like that. But and then speaking of legs and whatnot, I wanted to show you guys this piece has kind of helped me overcome some obstacles. Actually, just a guy that he used to race snowcross, and he lost his leg in a racing accident. It was in Ironwood, Michigan, and you know, he basically blew out his knee as his leg came forward the way it's not supposed to bend at the knee, and so he needed to take an ambulance to Duluth, but it was a snowstorm, and so it took, you know, like a ambulance ride that should have taken an hour took 5 hours, and he just lost too much blood. So then they had to end up amputating it. So then he went to work in his garage and he made, this is a revised version of it, but he made the first moto knee, they call it. And so he made that so he could, so he got hurt in the winter of 2008, and then in summer of 2000, actually it would have, summer 2009, he wanted to race the adaptive class at the Summer X Games, a motocross race. And so he needed a prosthetic leg that could handle what he wanted to do and give him more support. It's kind of a whole nother topic to jump into to the difference between like this knee and this knee, but it essentially gave him more support when he was doing that race, and he did well with that, and he really ran with that idea, and now he makes them and they get shipped all over the world, and a lot of the big use for it would be snowboarding, like in the Paralympics, or skiing. He makes a foot that's a little bit different. It's called the alpine foot, and so it's just has the stance of more like a skier form, so a little bit more with the knee bent, and then a lot of amputee like weightlifters use it as well. So that's a really cool tool. I guess I got a couple other like tools I use to help me do the things I want. So when I ride bicycle now, it's if I would just hop on and pedal with no pedals, I would have a tough time keeping my left foot on it. I just don't have as much control with it. It would just fly off. So I found a company that makes these magnetic pedals. So the pedal just magnetizes to the shoe like a bike specific shoe, and so that's a pretty cool deal. Helps me do the things I want. For me, I feel like that was enough kind of motivation to just get through the tougher times after the injury, was to just get back to doing what I wanted to do, the things I loved. That was enough, and to do it with my family and friends and stuff. And I feel like we all will probably face some challenges in our life. Some bigger than others, some visible, extremely visible, like mine, or some you might not see somebody going through something. So I think it's important to be kind to everybody, and because you don't know what they're going through. And like I said, for me it's easy to tell, but and I think those challenges just make you stronger too. It's kind of amazing what we can overcome if you really put your mind to it and focus on it. So I think just keep on grinding, keep hammering, and be kind and love God, and you'll be just fine.
Sure. When the injury happened, and maybe you could, you don't have to share all the details. It's up to you what you feel comfortable with there. But when that happened, and the days following that, I'm sure there were moments of weakness where you were pretty distraught, obviously.
Yeah.
How did you dig deep and find that power and that courage to persevere through what many would say a pretty daunting life challenge?
Yeah, I don't have like some magical recipe or any things. It was just keep fighting. I did read a few books. Wasn't a big reader, still am not a big reader, but I did read a few books when I came home from the hospital for sure. That was nice. One was John Creasel, a war vet, and Josh Bile as well. They were both. So I actually met John Creasel at Midwest Ag Advisors meeting here at the community center in Wyndham last winter, and that was really cool talking to him. He is the same levels you would call the different amputations. So like my level is one leg above the knee, one leg below the knee, and he was the same size too. And I talked to him about, I was in a wheelchair at that time, and talked to him about like driving and stuff. He said, well, you'll be able to drive just fine. He flies like his he does a lot of motivational speaking, and he drives around, flies into the city, rents a car so he can just have any regular car, and that was cool to hear at that time, because I was not driving. Like I said, I was in a wheelchair, I wasn't wearing legs yet, and so that was cool to hear from him. I mean, I think that helped a little bit. Mike Schultz, the guy who made these legs too, he also has a book called Driven to Ride. So yeah, it was tough. I think in the hospital everything is such a blur. I didn't even have a choice. You just kind of have to survive, and there's just so much medication you're on, and just it's busy, procedures and stuff. But yeah, the next month at home, I was pretty much laying on the couch and just trying to fight the pain and stuff. And yeah, it was tough, but you just gotta keep going.
How important is that support network of people that you have in your family, your friends that help you through those challenges?
Yeah, very. When I was in the hospital, actually, some friends of mine came to our house and like renovated the bedroom to make it work for me in a wheelchair, and put ramps in. We needed like several ramps around the house for the wheelchair, so they came in and took care of all that. So when we came home from the hospital, it was ready to go. And so, but just that and the support, like from the community, was huge. We had friends held a benefit for me at the community center, and it was a great turnout. And I mean, that was a wonderful thing. And yeah, I mean, without all the friends and family and support, it would be really tough. That's for sure.
You gotta really love what you do to overcome the challenges you have to try to get back and ride, dirt bike or snowmobile and compete, or at least enjoy your sport again. Where does that love come from? How do you love something that much that you can overcome this?
It's a good question. I don't know. I just do. It's just so fun. And, I mean, everybody has their own thing, and I think it's good to find that thing, find what you love, and do that, and it makes coming back from a challenge easier for me, at least. It was, it's important to have something you love, and especially if you could make it your job. I mean, that's a big one, like they say, if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. So
When you were racing professional, before any of this stuff happened, but you got to the professionals, you had to deal with sponsors, things like that. What kind of things were driving you in those days? Because that can't be easy in that circuit to kind of make it through and be successful. How did you find success to do it at that level?
yeah, I just thought that God had given me a gift I could see from a younger age that I was pretty good at it, or I'm fairly skilled with it, and so I knew I had that gift, and I just wanted to make the absolute most of it that I could. Wanted to be the best. That didn't happen, but I mean, yeah, to just kind of the challenge too. Sometimes I was going to mention that about where I'm at now, and just trying to get like to the highest level I can, and not just kind of skate by and okay, like I can walk now, but that's kind of enough. To me, the challenge now is to just like see how high of a level I can take it to, or just be as good as you can. I mean, and just try and do everything right. Something worth doing at all is worth doing right. And I'm still in physical therapy. I go to Wyndham, and running blades to try. So I don't know if you guys have seen any amputees run with them, but they're different sizes. I mean, there's hundreds of different ones, but it's like a carbon fiber hoop, and so it's like a spring, and it gives you some of that energy return, they call it. Without your ankle, it's pretty hard to like jump at all. I mean, I could show you, but I don't want to embarrass anybody. I can get about a solid inch off the ground. No, so it's like going. I'd like to try that. I don't see myself doing a ton of running, but it would be absolutely cool to try it and just see what happens and see what that leads into. So yeah, just the challenge, and your question was, where did I find it? I don't know. It's difficult, but it's just wanted to do it and tried hard to do it. So.
You were not a runner growing up, correct?
I'll run on the gravel a little bit.
Right.
Or some track, but that's about it.
Sure, you weren't like in cross.
Track, no, I wasn't.
But you're growing and learning new pieces in life. What questions do you guys have, students? Or,
Yeah,
or anybody else in here?
I'm open to questions. I don't have too tough a time talking about anything. So if there's anything at all you have, or I could even show you too. Like, I'll probably leave my left one on. It's a little bit harder to take off, but just kind of show you how this works. There's different kinds and different methods to hold it on. This is called just suction, but so just like that, it's off, and that's my little leg. So Shaylee's a little bit. My 4-year-old daughter's taller than me now if I lay down. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm supposed to be. This is actually what they call a test socket. It's clear, cheaper plastic that they can visually see the pressure points at and whatnot. And so next, once that's fitting good, then they remake it into a carbon fiber like this one, lighter, stronger. The way they attach it to the components is stronger. He's always nervous that I'm gonna break it off or something when I'm in the test ones, but because it's just kind of glued on.
And that's from the Limb Lab?
Yeah. So yeah, it's a pretty cool deal. The fit is extremely important. I mean, if it's not fitting right, it just hurts too much to walk on. You can't. It's just bone with skin covering it, and it's just not made to take the weight. And so yeah, fit is very important, and it's a really important job that they have. So he's it's pretty crazy. He's a year younger. My prosthetist is a year younger than me, and when I was like, geez, am I old already? How does that work? I'm supposed to be a young one.
Mr. Alder, you got a question?
Yeah, Travis, you have a ton of perseverance and work ethic and a lot of the qualities that it takes to be successful after an accident like this. Did the accident teach you those things itself, or did you possess those qualities prior to the accident?
I mean, there is definitely things that it taught me, but I think they were kind of inside of me before that. I guess I feel like, anyways. But but yeah, you kind of have to dig a little deeper than in something like that, and just to get through it. But yeah, I think for everybody, I mean, if you have it, I think it's inside of you somewhere. You just have to find it. Anybody else? No questions?
I got a question.
Yeah, Mitch. Hey.
How's it going? Hey, I just want you to talk about, obviously we talked about adversity, but when you're laying in bed at night or you're laying on the couch and you want to get up and move, the negative thoughts that crept into your head, and how did you, is it a goal-driven thing? I got to get to the next level, or what helped you keep those negative thoughts at bay?
Good question. Yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head. Like the toughest times is like, okay, so I take these off at, you know, my legs off at night to sleep and to shower and things like that, and it's just like, it's probably for a while the toughest time was whenever in the morning or afternoon at the beginning, even like when I would put them on, and then even up till somewhat recently actually is like getting the motivation to put them on, because it kind of doesn't feel the most comfortable. It's getting better for sure every day, just wearing them and, you know, putting them on in the morning, I guess, to sum it up, was kind of the toughest part almost for a while, but then I learned how to beat the wheelchair. I mean, the wheelchair is really tough. It's still possible, you can still have a good life in a wheelchair, but it's so much easier for me and what I wanted to do to be able to stand, even if it's just tinkering in the garage on stuff. I mean, to be able to stand and reach a shelf or work on a workbench, it's, so I guess I just like knew I had to do it to live the life I wanted to. How did I keep the negative thoughts at bay? Yeah, I mean, they're there, you're gonna face them, you can't just like put a wall up and keep them from coming in, they're gonna come up, and then you just have to learn how to process them and just deal with it, like fight them off and prove the, you know, negative thoughts wrong, I guess, you know, something like that. It's how I would answer that. So,
Other questions anybody has? What could be one student question before we go?
bonus points.
Maybe like, you asked Trav what his favorite class was in high school or something?
Yes, social studies. No, I get the bonus points.
Yeah.
What did you not expect to change after the accident that you did? Was it
That's a good question. What did I not expect to change? You know, there was kind of so many thoughts at the beginning, like right after the accident, when I was still in brain bin, but then like in the hospital too, and I'd have to think about that one. I don't have an answer right now for that. I would say I wouldn't have expected to already be kind of as mobile and active as I am, maybe, but I started to see, I look towards other people for inspiration, I guess, and like, so other amputees, and oh, they can do that, well, that's good, that means I can do it, you know, and so, yeah, I'd have to think about that. That's a good question. I'm sure there's something, maybe how